Welcome back to Retro ReWire. My name is JJ. We're back for another In the Hunt, back at the Hachioji Tokyo Hard Off. Let's go ahead and start right off the bat here with the PlayStation 1 games, and this will be the final episode in the Hachioji saga. Now, as you can see here, PlayStation 1, quite a bit of software here, lots of great games, and as always, I wish that I could show a lot more, but you know how the story goes. This episode would be super long, so we'll just focus on a few titles, but definitely feel free to pause if you want a closer look at a few others. But here we have Gradius Gaiden. That one's actually a pretty cool one. I recently got that. And then we have this Goemon. I'm not sure what the subtitle is there, but it's one that I heard a lot of great things about, and I remember seeing like a screenshot of it way back in the day, and it's one that I definitely would like to try out. And then we have Off-World Interceptor Extreme. That was originally on the 3DO and also available on the Saturn. And then we have another Power Instinct here, which I wasn't aware that it found its way onto the PlayStation, but I'm not surprised just because the PlayStation, such a huge library of games. And then we have B-Rally here. Freaking love these rally games, especially the 32-bit flavored ones. And then we have Breath of Fire 4 coming in at 1,100 yen. I actually have this game, but I have a digital copy that I purchased off of PSN for like 99 cents back in the day. And it seems like it's really freaking awesome. And then here we have the PAL release of Tomb Raider. This was a nice little surprise to see. Normally, I haven't been too exposed to PAL games, so very cool to see that one. And that's actually a really great game, Tomb Raider. And we have Gun Survivor here, missing the manual, but it does have the spine card. And then we have Parappa the Rapper. I actually have that. I found it in the junk section at a different Hard Off. And then we have the Rockman Battle Racing or something like that. I believe this is a part of the collection on the PlayStation 2 and one of the releases on Switch. I could be wrong though, but I actually haven't played it yet, but I would like to give it a try. I think it's actually a part of the Mega Man X collection, if memory serves me right. But look at all these Famicom games, just loaded. And they got the loose carts up on the top, and then a few boxed games down on the lower half there. But just a lot of great stuff here. And you could easily spend hours at this location. I mean, I got 3 episodes out of this place. And then on the opposite side, we have Super Famicom, and Super Famicom is that's where we're gonna focus on. But look at all this greatness, and it actually is it does benefit one to actually look through all the peg hooks there, because you just never know what you're gonna find. In fact, that's what I did, and I ended up finding Joe and Mac for like about 750 yen, which I thought was a pretty decent deal, and I ended up picking it up. And then here we have our boxed releases, or boxed games, Super Famicom. And this one is definitely worthy. Super Adventure Island, coming in at 2750. Look at that freaking amazing cover. I do like this game, and it has an excellent soundtrack. I haven't actually beat it yet. I made it to the final boss, and I ended up getting a game over. But I remember I picked up a copy of this. I just have it in the loose cart, which is totally cool with me. And then we have R-Type, Super R-Type, coming in at 3,300 yen. I do like that cover. And then 550 yen for a boxed Street Fighter 2. I would say this is definitely a collectible, definitely worth it. And then we have it in the loose variety for 330 yen. I often play that edition of the game for just because it's nostalgia. It's a great game. Still holds up today. And then we have Final Fight here, coming in at 1320, next to Mario Paint and Final Fantasy V. And what else do we have here? Mega Man X2 for 1320. That's a great Rockman game. Definitely one of the better X games. And then we have Donkey Kong Country coming in at 550. And Super Mario RPG, 330 yen. And then we have this Light Fantasy for 880 yen. That cover art just kind of stuck out. Just wanted to point it out. Haven't played it though before. And then we have the original Rockman X there. And then we have Prehistoric Man coming in at 1650. It's been years since I played that. But now we're going to make our way back into the retro showcases, and they actually have a number of these showcases just kind of littered throughout the shop. But down in the bottom, look at this. We have a PlayStation 2 Neo Geo controller coming in at 4,400 yen. And then we have a boxed AC adapter for the Famicom coming in at 1,550. So if you're a hardcore collector, there you go. Although that box is a bit damaged. And then down below there was a N64 Pikachu. And then we have this Duo R coming in at 38,500. And then we have, oh, here we go. What is this PC Engine? 55,000 yen. My goodness. And then we have this ASCII stick. I think that's for the Famicom. And then we have an AC adapter, pad 121. I'm not sure which system that goes to. And then a Dreamcast VGA connector there. And then the core graphics coming in at 16,500 yen. I feel that one is a little bit overpriced, but a great looking machine. And then we got the wireless controllers. Look at this. Some more ASCII pads for the Super Famicom, 22,000. And then this here for the Sega Saturn. This is a great wireless option for the Sega Saturn, and I will be releasing a video on those controllers soon. Although I didn't purchase those, as I already have some. And then what we have there, a Neo Geo Pocket Color, and then some more wireless controllers for the Super Famicom in the back. And then up here we have an SG-1000 Mark II, old school Sega console. I actually haven't played one of those before. I wonder if it has a decent library. And then just some Game & Watch style handhelds. Quite a bit actually. And then, and look at that, they just keep trickling in. We got a Wonder Swan front and center. And then we have the next retro showcase. And this one is actually littered with quite a bit of handhelds. So let's go ahead and take a closer look and see their offerings here. We have 16,500 for that Famicom, and it looks like it's AV modded next to some Wiimotes with some pretty cool designs. I do like that Bowser one. Then the train controller, you gotta love that. And then a clean Famicom. That thing is freaking clean. And then we have our handhelds, a lot of Game Boys and Game Boy Colors, some Game Boy Advances, and just more Nintendo goodness up here. So they got you covered if this is what you're after. And look at this one in the back, this Hello Kitty business, 13,200 yen. Kind of a neat little pink design there in color. And we have a Pokemon Game Boy. What is that? A Game Boy Color for 55,000 yen. My goodness. Directly from the Pokemon Center. And that doesn't even include the box. And we have some Game Boy Advance SPs. And look at this DSi. Look at that red color. That sheen is just so vibrant. And that thing just looks so clean. And then in the back, we have an old school Game Boy Advance. This is the one that I prefer and the one that I purchased way back when the system launched. And then next to that, we have the Sharp Twin Famicom. This red color is so cool looking. And then we have a Game Boy Advance Pokemon Center. Look at this price. 110,000 yen. My goodness. I don't know much about Pokemon. I have no idea what character that is, but that must be highly collectible if it's at that price. And then just some more 3DSs. Look at all this stuff. 2DS, 3DS, new 3DS, Game Boy Advance, and then we have a 3DS XL, another Pokemon Center one coming in at 44,000, which this one is less than that standalone Game Boy Color, which is a little bit surprising. And then up above we have the, what is this, the quintuplets, the Gotobune sisters, I believe, 13,200 for the PlayStation 4. Not really sure if this is like a visual novel or what, but it looks like it has quite a bit of goodies in there. And then we have another retro showcase. Look at all these top loaders down here. They seem to be hovering around 11,000 yen. And yeah, quite a bit of them. And then look at all, we have a lot of loose Game Boy Player discs. And 3850 seems to be the asking price for these. They ended up with quite a bit of them. And then what else do we have? Oh, look, we have the NFC 3DS reader for the original 3DS. And then we have the Konami Command. Look at that controller. And then in the back, it's the Hori Commander. That Konami one looks actually, that thing looks actually pretty cool. And they have two of them, two of each of those models. And then above that, all sorts of amiibos. I know amiibos are highly collectible, and I think I'm good with my current collection of amiibos. But quite a bit of them there. And then we have what do we have? A Super Famicom Mini, a Switch Lite, and a few more Switch goodies or machines here. I'm sure one of those is an OLED model. I think that one coming in at 39,600 yen, which that's not too far from the actual retail price. And then look at this bundle. It had the Famicom and Super Famicom Mini. I did not realize that that got like a dual release, but we're going to make our way down this aisle. Look at all this DS. The DS, which was such an amazing system, especially back, well, even today, but back when it launched, that thing was out of this world with its two screens. And then that just kind of goes into your 3DS titles. And then on the opposite side, they have Switch. They have Wii. Lots of Wii stuff. Nintendo 64. This aisle, as you can see, is pretty much all about Nintendo. And then we have our loose handheld Game Boy carts here. I was actually digging through that, and I didn't see anything that really caught my attention, but there were a few. A lot of the common stuff was, was readily available. And then here's the Game Boy Advance stuff. It's great to see stuff like this because, it kind of makes it easy to shop. But here's to give you an idea, Super Mario Kart Advance for $13.20. And what do we have here? What's that game? Driller something by Namco. Forget the name, but Mr. Driller. And then look at this Alice in Wonderland card game. I'm not sure what this is about, but it's coming in at 500 yen. That is an interesting cover, and it just seems to be like some kind of card battle type of game. Haven't heard of that one before, so kind of interesting to see that one. And look at those cards just pulling down the peg hooks there. They're pretty loaded, some of those. And we got some more here. And they do have a lot of Diddy Kong Racing there. And then just some more box stuff. And the prices of some of the box games is actually not too bad. Let's take a look at 1080 here. What is that coming in at? 880 yen. And then here we have this one, Super Mario 64 for 1620. So yeah, they're a bit reasonable, the prices there. And then we have our Wii releases here, our Wii games. Quite a bit. But we're not going to focus too much on the Wii this time around, as we're going to make our way into another retro showcase. And this one is kind of in the middle of the store. They kind of just took the column there and built a showcase around it, which is kind of neat. All sorts of loose carts. And I think the one that I was kind of thinking about here is going to be for the Game Boy, which is a Simpsons game. Here's some soundtracks, but this is the game that I was thinking about purchasing. I actually didn't do it, but it's Bart and the Beanstalk for 4,400 yen. I was kind of thinking about it, but then I decided against it. And then it looks like we have Turtles 3 Radical Rescue. Now that looks like it's the North American copy of the game. But some pretty cool Game Boy games. And then we're going to make our way into the final retro showcase. I don't know if this one would be the premier showcase, but they had quite a bit of pretty cool software in here. And right in the bottom, we have Samurai Showdown 3 for 12,100 yen for the AES. We got part 2 for 3850 and the Super Spy. And then we have, what do we have this? A quiz type of game there. Can't really make out the title. But there was a few, look, and we have Top Players Golf. So there was a few Neo Geo games just kind of mixed in there. Or I believe this is the puzzle game. Some kind of game, but as you can see, we have Mega Drive games. We got the RAM expansion there. Sorcerian and some other stuff. And then up above, we're going to make our way into Super Famicom territory, as well as Nintendo 64, kind of just all mixed in there. And then we have a couple of mixture here. We even have a Windows game there, Flight Simulator 10. PlayStation 2 titles. They even have Tatsunoko vs. Capcom for 3520 there for the Wii. That's a great title. They have Alone in the Dark for the 360. They actually had quite a bit of Alone in the Dark at this location. Here we have Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker for 5,500 yen, a little bit pricey there. We got Biohazard 2 in the box, next to Phantasy Star there for the Master System, but that's coming in at 16,500 yen, so a little spendy, but it looks to be in pretty awesome condition there. And 3780 for that Phantasy Star. And then we have Alone in the Dark. This is the North American release for the Dreamcast, coming in at, what was that price, 49.50. I've never been able to beat that because the second disc has never worked for me, oddly. And I had like 2 different copies of that game. But we got Hudson's the Best, Far East of Eden. Those games are always pricey no matter the platform that they're on. What do we have? Famicom Wars DS, a few Game Boy Advance games and Saturn games back there. Kid Dracula there for the Game Boy. 27,500 yen. Wow. I wonder if that's due to rarity or if it's just that good, huh? What do we have? We have D Director's Cut for 4,620 yen. That's a great game, actually. And that has the little Netmall sticker, so that's going to be available online. And then look this, I believe this is Radical Ranger for the Super Famicom, 143,000 yen. That's one of the most expensive items in this showcase, but it is not the most expensive. And what do we have here? Snow Bros for the Mega Drive, I believe, and then the Punch-Out strategy guide. And then we have Corpse Killer for the 3DO coming in at 27,500. But look at this, 418,000 for the Donkey Kong soundtrack. That's like the most expensive, one of the most expensive things in the store. And then kind of hidden away, we have Thunder Force 4 for the Mega Drive. But anyhow, guys, I hope you enjoyed this series, the Hard Off in Hachioji. Definitely worth visiting as they have a lot of great hardware and games. And that's going to be it for today's episode. See you soon. Ciao.